I've been doing some Googling and searching and watching some of your content online, and to my surprise, I haven't seen many rabbis talk about this. I saw that you speak about Islam and about some of the similarities and differences. I'd love for you to sort of share with us. I mean, I know obviously there's a big similarity in that they're both Abrahamic monotheistic religions. They both believe in, a one God, one power that's sort of the source of the universe, source of creation. But beyond that, could you help share with our viewers some of the similarities, but more curiously, some of the theological? I mean, I know obviously in practice, the actual practicalities are very different, but are there any sort of significant theological differences between Judaism and Islam?
Theological differences or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the concept of God in Islam is very similar to our belief in God, as far as there being no physical representation. Not they're in their mosques, they would never have any sort of thing, any spiritual, anything that even remotely reflects about God's, um, what he would look like, or anything, any sort of physical conjecture. So that itself is very, very similar to Judaism. Obviously, there's major theological differences in the sense that, as far as purpose of the world and the trajectory of the world, Islam does not believe. They believe that God gave the Torah to the Jews, but they say also that the Jews distorted it, and that really they're the ones that ultimately are in God's favor, and that the only way to achieve what life is all about is through the means of the Quran. That the Torah is essentially annulled, and they are the new path, which obviously is a huge theological contradiction to Judaism. The concept of God, they're definitely on the right track, but as far as the purpose of the world and the trajectory of God's message and implementing that to the world are certainly quite at odds with our faith. I think the video that you're talking about is, so I gave a presentation, must have been about 10 years ago now, to a group, sharing the ins and outs, the differences. If your viewers are interested in kind of getting like a more in-depth look, I'd suggest that just go on YouTube and can search my name and Islam and go into in greater detail. Well, one of the reasons I think it's important to have at least a general understanding of other faiths is because we all have a mission. Part of the Jewish community's part of our fulfillment and part of our command is to be a light unto the nations. And that is an extraordinarily important part of what this world needs, and something that unfortunately a lot of times gets overlooked. Historically, we understand why it got overlooked, because if you're a group of people that's constantly being oppressed and doesn't have a voice in anything, there's not really much you can teach people about. You don't have the opportunity. But now that we have the opportunity to teach people and to show them the light of the Torah, to be a light into the nations, we have to have at least a generalized understanding of what they believe, and so we can, in a practical way, lead them to what the Torah says that they're meant to be believing and doing, the 7 laws of Noah. And so a lot, especially the monotheistic faiths, are like, they're on the right track. And so having a generalized understanding of that, and kind of being able to direct them and where they're getting it right, and where there might be some where they might be going off the track a little bit, I think it's helpful to have at least a generalized understanding of that for the greater purpose of being able to influence them in the ways of the Torah.
Wouldn't the 7 laws of Noah, which the Torah says apply to all mankind, they would probably fit within Islamic law at present, would they not?
Yeah, I mean, theologically, yes. Practically, in the Islamic world, there are certainly certain segments that are might be struggling in other areas of, in their relationship with the Jewish people. But
Right.
as far as the theology, of Islam, they're certainly on the right track of the belief in God and things like that. Yeah.